The leaky Russian world, having suffered a breach in Ukraine, is sinking fast, but in its convulsions, it's desperately trying to cling to anything it can. Today, a political battle for the future of Moldova is unfolding. On the eve of the parliamentary elections, the Kremlin has activated all its zombies and united them into a single horde. Communists, socialists, and other pro-Russian hardliners of all stripes have formed a pro-Russian bloc whose main goal is to stop Moldova's European integration and prepare the country for annexation by Moscow.
The leader of the Victory Bloc, oligarch Ilan Shor, declared during his speech at the Congress in Moscow that Moldova's future lies in union with Russia, not with the EU. He also announced his intention to have the bloc participate in the parliamentary elections. The party list will be headed by the leader of the Gagauz autonomy, Evgenia Gutsul.
In every country, all pro-Russian forces share a common trait. They are led by criminals, crooks, and mentally unstable comrades. The main sponsor of Moldovan Rashism, Ilan Shor, is on the run because he was sentenced in Moldova to 15 years in prison for large-scale fraud. This admirer of Pushkin and birch trees stole $1 billion from the country's banking system.
Even in Moscow itself, where Shor is now assembling yet another coalition bloc, he has not always been welcome. That's putting it mildly. Since 2015, he was simply not allowed in there, under the pretext of being a threat to national security. This is connected to the $1 billion stolen in 2014. At the time, Russian state banks suffered from these schemes. The oligarch's name has come up in many cases in Russia. In other words, in Moscow, they know perfectly well that Shor is a criminal.
Of course, Western values are foreign to him, where people are harshly punished for things like this. Unlike in Mother Russia, if you steal $1 billion, you immediately become a respected person and a reliable ally.
Today, we need a unified development platform, both to solve internal problems and external ones.
The second Russian matryoshka, Evgenia Gutsul, is currently under investigation. She is accused of illegal financing and election fraud in 2023. Guess 3 times who was truly and ultimately funding this Kremlin puppet, and for what specific purpose?
What's the name of this country?
Oh yes, Russia!
She is on trial for illegal financing of the pro-Russian Shor party, which is banned in Moldova. The charges allege that Gutsul received more than 2 million euros from Ilan Shor to pay protest participants and make payments to regional coordinators. The second criminal case concerns the falsification of financial documents during her 2023 election campaign and the fabrication of reports.
Gutsul is facing up to 9 years behind bars. Of course, unless the Russians come to free her in tanks. By the way, this is a fetish of all warriors everywhere in the world. They truly dream of being liberated by Russia. As a general rule, they want to be freed from the pressing need to respect the traditions and the established culture of the country they currently live in, as well as from the essential need to learn new languages. After all, the Russian-speaking Joe really suffers from this.
Because even here, you can clearly see that the Jaws are quite different. Like us, I can't even speak Ukrainian. My bones are probably arranged differently. I probably can't speak it. I have a Russian-speaking jaw. I can't speak that Kaldimoldi, whatever it is.
But in practice, they are being freed from their homes, their loved ones, and their lives. Although a true Vatnik isn't bothered by this. After all, he was born for one purpose: to die in Russia.
For funeral professionals, the Resort Peninsula is a new promising market.
We brought products manufactured in the Luhansk People's Republic. We plan to conquer the Russian market. In connection with the difficult situation and blockade of the Republic, this is relevant.
Criminals are striving for power. This is directly about the Russian opposition in Moldova. Nothing new if we remember who defended the Russian world in Ukraine. The criminal Shapkokrak.
Yakonovich. Fedorovich. Do you know who Fedorovich is?
Konman Pushilin, the criminal boss Goblin Aksionov, and the thief Tatarsky. We'll kill everyone. We'll rob everyone we need to. Everything will be just the way we like it. Let's keep it calm. Moscow always bets on criminals and outcasts because a normal, thinking person, when choosing between the EU and Mordor, between Western prosperity and Russian misery would never choose the latter unless, of course, they've been bitten by Oklobistine. Of course, former Moldovan President Dodon has also joined the new pro-Russian coalition. His blind support for Moscow and justification of its aggressive policies makes it tempting to play on his last name. But we will stick to decency and not stoop to the level of Kremlin propaganda.
How I truly wish I could vividly see Ursula von der Leyen writhing in agony with a piece of a drone deeply stuck in her throat, blood profusely gushing from it, and her filthy twitching stumps desperately flailing.
What a complete and utter idiot.
This bouquet of kulebyakas and balalaikas would be incomplete without the great admirer of Putin, Miss Fortuna. For those who don't know, she's a collector of Moldovan lands and a devotee of historical justice. She calls for the annexation of part of the Odessa region. In other words, she is ready to go to war with Ukraine.
I know how to return to Bujak today. We are not insignificant, we are not powerless, we are not silent. We are a force to be reckoned with, and our voices will be heard. We are crippled by borders drawn with a ruler, and we were deprived of access to the sea through Bujak. The Republic of Moldova has grounds to demand a revision of the borders. We will take back everything that was stolen from us: our name, our history, our language, and our access to the sea.
The Moldovan Yanukovyks don't even hide their profound and undeniable hatred for Europe and openly declare that if they win, they want to form a military alliance with Russia. The fugitive Ilan Shor, who held his party's gathering in Moscow, stated that Moldova should definitely become a member of the CSTO.
Oh, what a great fool.
This is at a time when the CSTO exists only on paper. Just ask Armenia. In reality, the CSTO now consists of only two warring countries, Rasha and Belarus. And the pro-Kremlin Moldovan forces want Chisinau to join them. If that happens, all of Moldova will turn into Transnistria. And that's the best-case scenario. Most likely, it will share the fate of the DNR. After all, by joining a military alliance with Moscow, it would find itself in complete isolation, surrounded by Ukraine and NATO. But the pro-Russian forces don't care about the consequences. Their goal is to expand the Russian world at any cost. And the Russian world does not imply a comfortable and safe life. In the Russian world, your sustenance is pride in the Sarmat missile, and your happiness is to die on the front for Putin.
I specifically conducted a survey among my fellow servicemen, my comrades in arms. I asked everyone the following question, brotherly heart, 1 million dead on our side. Does that number surprise you? Well, does it surprise you or not? Most of the answers, no, it doesn't surprise me, but I think it's actually more 80%.
And in just 50 days, we could easily cross all of Ukraine if we wanted to.
It's all ours, Russia's. It was, it is, and it should remain so. Everything belongs to us.
What exactly?
Completely. All of it. All of Kyiv region.
A perfect illustration of the Rashist ideology appeared in the Moldovan city of Cahul. There, the Vatniks came out to protest the removal of a T-34 tank, which they want to relocate in order to expand the hospital. Why do Vatniks need a hospital? They'd rather, coughing and waddling with hemorrhoids, stare at an old tank.
And the parliaments, where our so-called great mind cichlids, put that in quotes, were built by Soviet people. Yes. Today, Alana Marenko's father gave her life. He gave life not only to her, he gave life to a part of Moldova.
That's all you need to know about those who dream of reuniting with Russia. Zombies don't need treatment. They don't need food. Their made-up sense of greatness is enough for them. The only thing that sets Vatnik zombies apart from the classic kind is that regular zombies feed on other people's brains, while Vatniks devour their own.
If I were in Putin's place, honestly, I would just drop a bomb there to wipe everyone off the face of the earth. You just can't do that. So many of our guys have died. All my grandchildren are crippled. My nephew was killed. They still can't find one of them. How are we supposed to live like this?
father.
In September, the very existence of the Moldovan people and their statehood is at stake in the parliamentary elections. The people of Moldova have a fairly simple choice to make: security and prosperity in a united Europe, or endless war and death together with Russia.
We, as martyrs, will go to heaven.
Of course, that's not true.
The Kremlin understands that it has little chance of winning the elections fairly. That's why they've started blatantly threatening Moldovans. If you don't vote for pro-Russian forces, you'll face war. The orcs have already started whipping up anti-NATO hysteria, promising to do the same thing as in Ukraine.
Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service believes that NATO is actively preparing the Republic of Moldova for an armed conflict with Russia. In a statement released by the Russian agency, it is said that Brussels has decided to speed up the transformation of Moldova into a forward base for the alliance on the eastern flank, taking into account the advance of the Russian armed forces in Ukraine. The press secretary of the Russian president, Dmitry Peskov, responding to journalists' questions, noted that concerns about a direct attack on the region are not unfounded.
I have a feeling of déjà vu.
Me too.
But real devastation truly awaits Moldova if the Russians were to come to power. Only by joining NATO and the European Union can it truly guarantee its security.
And this is precisely what membership in the European Union truly means. It is, above all, solidarity and protection. The European Union will defend Moldova's freedom, its democracy, its identity, and its security. We all know very well who's truly behind these attacks. These are the same agents of autocracy who are trying to undermine our democracies across Europe. And we will show them the undeniable strength of democracies.
At the same time as in Moldova, the Russian world continues to poison the air in other places as well. The Laptenogie just won't settle down in the Baltic countries. There, they resemble a herd of masochists who get a thrill from being oppressed. The more allegedly the Russian language is oppressed, the more they can ask Moscow for money for their senseless struggle. In fact, it's a fight against intelligence. After all, Russians are fighting so they don't have to learn another language.
Born in Latvia, native language. I supported Russia, you see. So this is an amazing article, which in principle applies to all of us who were born with Russian as our native language, thank God, in our families. I'll put it this way. In our country, it seems that there's a segment of the population that can say absolutely anything today, with no boundaries whatsoever. Because you've seen perfectly well the nonsense, the rubbish, the filth that's constantly poured on Russian speakers in Latvia, in Latvian public forums, by politicians, journalists, and just ordinary people.
All over the world, many normal people willingly pay money to learn an additional language. But Russians invite war into their own home just so they don't have to develop.
I don't know how it is in other countries, but here they've really started pestering me. Why don't I speak Latvian? For crying out loud, why are you bothering me? The language topic is closed.
The Russian world is truly senseless and utterly merciless. You simply cannot understand Russia with your rational mind. You just need to completely break it up and then forget it, like a very, very bad dream.
I would like to remind you that this video is created for entertainment purposes and contains elements of satire and irony. All facts and events are presented in a hyperbolized or exaggerated form to convey a comedic or dramatic effect. Our goal is not to mislead, but to highlight humor. Please take it with a smile.